Hi, everyone. Thankful to have you here. It is also Thursday, and we're thankful for that because it is publication day for the Sagersville Independent. If you haven't got your hands on a paper copy as of yet, well, of course, you're going to miss something. You're going to miss a lot of somethings if you don't. And, of course, during the pandemic, as we are still continuing to do for free, you can go online and catch a full, complete, high-resolution version of the entire newspaper for your viewing. Find the link on our social media pages or on our website at SagersvilleIndependent.com. And remember, it's also YourNewsToday.com, same website. And that's where you can also find the last 6 shows of Your News Today, as well as everything you need to know from the Sagersville Independent. With that said, we have 2 main topics of discussion for this Thursday. One, as you may expect, will be a sit-down with Sagersville Mayor Pete Shepard after Mike Harmon, Auditor of Public Accounts for the state of Kentucky, has released 2 major findings per a year-and-a-half-long examination of city finances, both, he says, resulting from a lack of oversight, and also both of which being turned over to the Kentucky Office of the Attorney General. We'll also have your update from Governor Beshear in just a few moments, in addition to our daily numbers. We also have more on the mask mandate as to its extension, also some other regulations which are expected at the first of next week, and some other information on that front, your weather forecast, a calendar, and much more. So please stay tuned. I'll be right back in just a moment. Car accidents don't stop. Accidents at work don't stop. Disability and SSI cases don't stop. Your legal needs and concerns don't stop for the coronavirus, and neither does McFarland and Tinker. They are open, able to schedule appointments per CDC guidelines, and always available for telephone and video conferences. Please, be safe, be smart, stay home, and don't let your legal needs fall victim to the pandemic. Call McFarland and Tinker and let them take care of them for you.
We let out of Kingsport in the middle of the night. We was playing country music, treating people right. When the amplifiers are cooled down, the guitars put away. I put that Vic in the hammer lane, and this is what I'll say. Well, that road is long, and my eyes are wide. Playing country music, treating people right.
Summer heat and no AC make for a miserable drive. But don't sweat it. Call Black Smoke Performance in Sagersville for inspection, diagnostics, and repair by qualified technicians with the latest technology and equipment. Don't suffer in the summer heat. Get your air conditioning fixed today at Black Smoke Performance. First, it was pennies, and now it's everything. Because of the pandemic, most banks haven't been able to order their weekly amount of coins for weeks. And without all of the fundraisers and activities going on, a lot of that change that would normally be in circulation isn't. So the Sagersville National Bank says now is a great time to help out and cash in. Bring your coins to either drive-through, or if you've got a lot, call ahead to give them to someone at the door and help your local businesses. And remember, you can pay all of your bills and practically do all of your banking on their mobile and online services, and all inside and lobby services are still available by appointment at Sagersville National Bank. Mike Harmon, the state auditor of public accounts, has sent a letter to Sagersville Mayor Pete Shepard, the Sagersville City Council, as well as other officials in regards to a year-and-a-half-long inquiry into city finances, specifically tourism fund money here in the Sagersville city area. He says that that inquiry has resulted in 2 major findings, both resulting from a lack of oversight, and due to the nature of these findings, they have been sent on to the Kentucky Office of the Attorney General and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development for their consideration of any further investigation. Now, let me explain first, this is an examination and not an annual audit that these findings have come from. Annual audits, of course, as we report on routinely, examine finances and policies as well, and report any findings if there are any to be reported, and would also include, of course, any responses by those officials or official being audited at the end of each finding to get their response or reasons behind what had happened. This is an examination of the city of Sagersville, and ultimately Mayor Pete Shepard, that Auditor Mike Harmon says came about after his office received complaints about how tourism money was being spent. And he says that in following up on that, his office also found a lack of oversight of contract personnel being paid with tourism money, where a contractor, and actually a son of Mayor Pete Shepard, and actually two sons referred to, but one specifically had been paid over 220 hours over the course of a year in duplicate time, meaning that he had turned in timesheets for both the Magoffin County Housing Authority, where he works part-time as its director, and for the city of Sagersville, saying that he had worked for both entities simultaneously. The other of the two major findings relates to the city's spending of tourism money in general on non-tourism items. A very in-depth chart was put together showing that 49% of the tourism account that was surveyed was spent on standard city expenditures and not anything related to tourism. 24% was tourism related. 3% of what was examined was said to be personal, which was flowers for a funeral that was paid for by city funds. There was also $1,100 for health insurance for city workers, $13,000 for workers' comp for city workers, some road work, concrete for a tornado shelter, $4,000 for a payment on a city fire truck, several other lists that were given, or items that were given on the list, many of which we will speak to Shepard about now, as the Auditor of Public Accounts is saying that the city should have a tourism committee as well that oversees the spending of those funds, and that per their inquiry they have not been able to find that the City of Sagersville Tourism Commission has met since 2009. So, the first finding, I think, appears to be the most serious, Pete, and that's about the 224 hours on the timesheets where the contractor, and we know obviously your son Morgan was paid for working two jobs at the same time. When you read that certainly sends up some really big, bad red flags. Can you want to explain that to us?
It looked bad to me too when I read this. I know they've been in here a year and a half investigating this, and this is one of the first things they come up with was the timesheets. At that time, and I explained this to them, that Morgan was part-time at the Magoffin Housing Authority, worked 24 hours a week, and then the rest of the week he worked for me. And through poor judgment on his part, and poor judgment on my part, because I wasn't checking his timesheets, he was just kind of lackadaisical filling out timesheets with the hours that he worked. But when they started looking at them, they were overlapping on his timesheet, and not his timesheet, but he had a clock at the housing authority. They punch in and punch out with the time clock. So when we found out what he's done, I jumped his rear end a little bit, and then he started filling it out correctly. But it did look bad, like that he's overlapped, like he was getting paid for the same job at the same time. He wasn't. He was working for the housing authority when he clocked in with that, and then he worked for me the other times. He would work on the Thursdays and Fridays, and sometimes Saturdays when he was off from the housing authority. So I know it looks bad, and it looks bad to me too. And if I was looking at it from the other end of the view, it looked really bad. But that's the reason, and I fixed it. And
when did you fix it? How long has that been?
Oh gosh, it's been almost a year ago, over a year ago, I guess. I don't remember the exact dates. Let's see, they pulled them from some June 2018. And when they came in here and looked at that and told me about it, then that's when I looked at it and I talked to Morgan about it, and we fixed the problem. He started filling out his timesheets, but just a little bit after that, he got full time at the housing authority. He works there full time. He doesn't work any for me anymore.
So double dipping is something that happens a lot, especially in government. So you're saying that that's not what happened here, without a doubt?
No, it's just ignorance on his part, really, and I chewed him for it, and he took the heat for it. But no, he did work. He worked for me. What he done at the housing authority is when he got off there, he called me, and I put him to a job, and then he called me when he was done, and that way I'd go make sure it's done right, because he did do it right. He worked a lot at the park on the ball fields, and that's what I kept him for. There was a lot of work down there.
Going back to the 224 hours, it says that not addition just to the 224 hours, but it's a conflict against the city code of ethics having him employed in any form or fashion. What's your response to that?
Well, he could be employed by the Sarasville Housing Authority. We checked that through legal terms before we got hired up there. The other thing was our ethics says that I'm not allowed to hire anybody for a paid position, such as city clerk, road worker, anything like that. But I can hire family members for contract labor, contract work, and he was a contract worker.
What were some of the jobs he did?
Mostly weed eating, clean garbage up, picking up the park, picking up some of the roadways and stuff. Just my jobs that when we got behind on during the summer, mostly when we got behind with the grass and stuff, he'd pick up extra with that. So he done what the street crew does, just a little extra time.
He's still doing that now, or going to continue?
No, he's not been he's been gone for over a year now.
So the other finding was relates to the city spending tourism money on non-tourism items. They even went so far they put the graph together saying about 50% or half of the tourism money was spent on standard city expenditures, and only about 24% related to tourism. How did you kind of break that down? They had $5,000 for a concrete for tornado shelter. Workers' compensation insurance was a big one at $13,000. $4,000 for a pumper truck. And you've seen the list. What's your thoughts on those?
Well, it's a very vague area what you consider for tourism and what's not for tourism. I felt since we was putting a shelter next to the park, so if we had ball games and stuff, or if we had teams in here for tourism, if we had a tornado or a storm, they'd have somewhere to go. So I thought some of the tourism money maybe should be spent for that, because we really didn't have enough money in other funds to maybe do everything we needed to do. As far as the pumper truck, that's a partial payment on it. The pumper truck is the one we clean the park with every time it floods. You know how many times it floods. So we clean the walking track with it. It can get back on the walking track and do that. So a lot of these things overlap as far as they might not be, they're not the full price of what it cost us, but it's a percentage. And what I do is we got funds like we've got our general fund, our local government fund, and what we do is we take percentages of that depending on how much we feel that somebody's working for that cost center or account. So like on insurance and stuff, a lot of my guys mow the park, they water flowers, so they're under our insurance while they're doing that. So we let a portion of it, a percentage of it, pay for the insurance for them. And it's just spreading it over different accounts, just like we take some out of our LGEF, which is foreign police. We also take some out of that to pay for other insurances and things like that overlaps. So it's just a percentage thing and a money thing, but it's in far as I'm concerned, it's a legal thing. I mean, I've never had I've heard other cities doing it that way, but that's the way we do it. It's a percentage.
They list the rescue squad. They actually have $1,000. Is that a month for the rescue squad, and they had $2,500 for the toys for Christmas on there. That they don't. It's not to be determined tourism funds.
Well, as you know, every year we give $1,000, and this year $1,500 to the rescue squad once a year. I don't know how they come up with 12 months. I really don't know. We don't. We give them once a year. It's a 1-year donation, and we get a receipt from Carter on that. And basically, we justify that because the rescue squad helps with all the parades. They do a lot when we're having Heritage Days. They do the community. They do a lot of stuff with crowd control, traffic control, and things like that. So I figure that's a little bit of tourism. And the $2,500, our tourism account, we've got a tourism account. Now, the tourism commission has money that comes from the taxes on food. Okay. We get other monies in from sources that we put in our tourism account, and it's not earmarked for the tourism commission. $2,500 were donations by people that we get the toys for. We don't take that out of any of our tourism money. We get that from donations and we have the raise that raises money. So we put that all in it's called a donation fund. It's in under tourism, but it's not under the tourism commission. So that money is earmarked for whatever we want to spend it for. And it's for the toys, for the kids, and for a Christmas parade.
Their recommendation was to establish routine meetings, and then they cited, and I know that it's been brought up before that tourism hadn't met since 2009. Is that correct? And
yeah, that's correct. And I'll put that on me. Well, I did take over to 2011, and at that time, then we had the tornado stuff. But I've had members on there. I've appointed new members for some reason, and time has flew. We just haven't got a meeting with them. And hopefully, with this coming out, I was supposed to have one last week and we had to cancel it. But next Tuesday, we will have a tourism commission. We'll start meeting with regular monthly meetings. But I'll put that kind of on me. When things are going and things are going good and everything seems to be fine, I didn't push the commission that much, which I should have.
Is this the same commission or is this new commission?
These are new commissioners. I've had, when we started out, we had 4 commissioners or 5 commissioners, and when I started asking them to meet, they just never would meet. And then 2 of them resigned. I took 2 of them off. I put 3 more on, and then for a 1-year period there, I had Pat Frazier on it. Tom was sick, and they didn't meet because she was in Lexington most of the time. And I really wanted her on there to help make decisions. The problem with these commissions is that this is a really important one. You got to have really people on there that's going to really work hard and do the right thing. And hopefully this new commission I've got appointed will do that.
Anything else? Before we leave, that's pretty well some of my short list of questions here. Well, I guess one more question before I ask you to just for any type of a statement in closing. Are you expecting anything to come out of this? They've turned this over, and this, as I stressed at the top of this was not an audit finding. This was an inquiry. Have you had to seek any legal advice or expect anything to transpire out of this?
Well, I think if there's only going to be any legal or anything done, it'll probably be over the timesheets and stuff with Morgan. I expect them to come in and investigate that closer, and I don't think they'll find anything. If it's anything to it, it'll be to the city, not to the housing authority. But I'm going to sit down and answer a lot of these charges that I think are just, I ain't going to say they're wrong or right. I'm just going to think that, give them my opinion, which I wish they'd have called and asked me before they put this out. We might have had some of these not been on there, but it didn't happen that way. So we'll take our medicine. We'll do it. And like I say, a lot of this stuff's already been changed. They've been in here a year and a half. I've had this. We've sent over. We have been over backwards to get them all the information. We sent them I don't know how many copies of our tourism general, all our funds. In fact, in fact, it kind of bothers me in the way that you got some of it wrong, and some of it is right. But I think I could justify some of it. I probably can't justify. We've changed that part. That I'm not going to transfer no more money out of those funds into something else. We're not going to give advances to anybody that might be short of money and then let them pay it back through. Are you there?
Yeah. Not going to start picking up, but not going to give them any more advances.
Well, they had us down there for giving advances to some of our employees, and that's on me. But we did that, but we'd take it out of their check monthly and put it back into the account. Just something that some of our people don't make a whole lot of money and they get shorthanded. And I'm not going to mention no names because some of you would probably go be up in arms that they'd be complaining about some of these people getting a little extra and then having to pay it back through their check. I don't see a problem with it, but really, I guess it's not good business, and we've done away with that practice too. So,
I guess since I've got you here, on a completely different note, but our daily note, real quick before we go, any new cases today or anything we need to discuss real quickly?
No new cases today. We still got one in ICU, and he's holding his own. So other than that, everything's been pretty quiet.
I did want just real quickly. I know we've been here a minute or two, but we know, of course, Mr. Collins he's been making public knowledge about his situation, and we've seen his posts, and I've reached out to him. But so yeah, we've got a father and son related to a church service in another county that are both in really serious condition. You know anything about? I know the younger is in ICU, and the father was not doing well this morning.
Okay, the younger one is in ICU. His father had an episode this morning where his oxygen level got really low, and they took him to the hospital. They did have him up and stabilized. They didn't have him. I don't know if they're going to hospitalize him tonight or not, but they did have him back in pretty good shape at about 2:00, I think, is when we heard from them. So he's doing better. The one in ICU he's still there, so he's still having problems.
Going back to the tourism report, the full letter can be found on the state auditor's website with a complete list of those things that they found which were said to have been paid for out of the city tourism fund without being tourism related. Many that I referred to, many that the mayor referred to as well, and there were some other items as well. You can find all of those in the complete list, again, on the state auditor's website in that letter. I'll be right back. Connolly Tire in Staffordsville is now a proud partner of Rough Country for all of your suspension and lift kit applications. And you can always go to ConnollyTire.net to get the latest offers. Like right now, $100 when you buy a set of Mickey Thompsons, $100 on a set of Continentals, and many, many more summer deals, including $35 computer diagnostics. That's Connolly Tire in Staffordsville, 297-2424. Come to Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville and get your prescriptions filled, your over-the-counter medications, and immune system boosters, all from the safety and comfort of your own vehicle, either in their drive-thru or with their new curbside service. You can also call ahead or just download the MyGNP app, that's Good Neighbor Pharmacy, and refill and manage your prescriptions right from your device, helping you and yours stay healthy and safe. Parkway Pharmacy in Sagersville, 349-4400. Now for our daily COVID update, as Pete Shepard, our mayor and public health director, referred to a few moments ago, no new cases here in McGoffin County today. That, of course, not the case for the state as a whole. Governor Beshear saying it is about saving lives and saving our economy prior to his daily update on the numbers, saying that the best chance we have to get our kids back in school is to keep wearing a mask, and therefore he has extended the mask mandate in Kentucky for another 30 days. He also announced that the Kentucky State Fair will go on this year, but it will be for participants only. No spectators will be allowed at the Kentucky State Fair. There also will not be any vendors, concerts. Everyone will have to wear a mask. The World Championship Horse Show will go on without any spectators. They'll be taking a lot of other precautions for those who are going to participate as well, but it is going to go on without spectators again. And today's numbers, as he got to those, compared to last week at this time, are about 250 less than they were a week ago. But still, the governor announcing over 500 new cases today with the exact same positivity rate that we had yesterday.
Today's report, again, has more cases than we want, 516 new cases of COVID-19. But Monday through Thursday of this week as compared to last week, we've had 247 less cases, if my count here is right, and we're always looking at duplications. What that means is, at least in overall numbers, we appear to not just be slowing, but we hope stopping any escalation that we have seen. If these numbers continue, they are further evidence that wearing that facial covering, wearing that mask, is truly helping Kentucky in so many different ways. Our people, our economy, our kids. So let's keep it up. I believe if we continue to do it, we can potentially see even better numbers than this. These 516 new cases after duplicates are removed gets our state total to 33,254 cases since our first one on March the 6th. Total number of tests to date, 674,490. I believe that's 11,390 more than yesterday. Number of patients currently hospitalized up to 701, and we are, at least anecdotally, hearing from a couple of hospital systems that they are seeing more people in the hospital. It's something that isn't unexpected given the large numbers in July, but something we ought to be pretty worried about, making sure, again, that we can help those that need it and Listen, this is COVID-19. If you're experiencing symptoms, if you're feeling under the weather, reach out to your doctor, call them on the phone, make sure that you talk to somebody earlier rather than later.
Again, Beshear announcing that today's positivity rate was exactly where it was yesterday, still too high, but at 5.51%. There were 12 children in today's numbers under the age of 5, and he also announced 8 Kentuckians have died since the last update yesterday, bringing the death toll in the Commonwealth to 760. The governor also said that we can expect some new regulations to be announced at the first of next week on Monday, possibly upping the capacity in restaurants with some guidelines to be set. Also, though, a 10 p.m. curfew for bars and restaurants to stop serving. He also, again, as I said at the very top of the report, extended the mask mandate for an additional 30 days. Now it's time for a quick community calendar. I think I have a birthday and one announcement for you, so I'll share those with you, courtesy of McGoffin Farm Bureau. The birthday wish goes out to Michael Rao. Michael, your hubby and all the family wanted me to make sure that I took a moment to wish you the very happiest of birthdays. Here it is. Happy birthday, Michael Rao. Happy birthday to you. One announcement, a reminder actually, about this weekend's Summer Open Bass Tournament, sponsored and hosted by the Elk Creek Free Will Baptist Church. They'll blast off from Clay Lick Boat Ramp Saturday evening at 6. They'll weigh in at 2. First place is $1,000. Other big cash prizes, including $100 every hour for the Big Fish every hour. If you have any questions, call 548-0118. And then call me when you've got a birthday, anniversary, or an important announcement for your church, group, nonprofit, or organization. Obituary sponsored nightly by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And tonight we have a listing for 57-year-old Peggy Lou Helton Smith of Sagersville, who passed away earlier today at her home. I am told that arrangements are still incomplete at this hour, but to be announced soon by the McGoffin County Funeral Home. Once again, 57-year-old Peggy Lou Helton Smith. And this announcement coming in loving memory this evening of Bessie Bailey, who would have been 85 today on her birthday. Greatly loved and missed by Terry Francis and Obi Francis, Renee Horton, David Caesar, and a special daughter-in-law and friends and family. And also coming in loving memory tonight, in belated loving memory on what would have been his 90th birthday, Carlos Jackson, being remembered and missed by his wife, Charlotte, family, and friends. Oh, it's what a lot of you have been waiting for. They're back, but only for a limited time. Loaded potato wedges at your Sagersville least famous recipe. That's right, our famous hand-cut homemade potato wedges smothered in cheddar cheese, real crispy bacon, topped with either sour cream or ranch, your choice. And they're still only $2.49 with tax. Get them while you can at your Sagersville Lee's. The seasonal shop is open, and they're still doing curbside pickup, so you can call and place orders, and they'll still bring them out to you. And inside, you'll find all new merchandise throughout the entire store, all new spring and summer women's clothing from Charlie Page and Mud Pie, accessories, jewelry, shoes, and bags too, casual outfits for everyday or special occasion outfits and dresses. And if you've been home a lot and really want to freshen up your decor, they have so much to choose from, and they're happy to give you any fresh ideas that you might need. And just in, a large selection of Simply Southern and Candleberry at Fraser's Prater Drugs seasonal shop in downtown Sagersville. Now, let's look at what's happening on tonight's Licking Valley RECC Outlook. And looking over my shoulder there, you saw mostly cloudy skies. And that's along with tonight about a 20% chance of some showers and storms before 9 o'clock. There are a few little specks of green on the radar that take some glasses really a little bit stronger than mine, and they're pretty strong to see. So a few light showers out there tonight. Might even see a quick thunderstorm pop up. But it's only a 20% chance and nothing over the area immediately right now. But mostly cloudy skies tonight, as you can see, and 61 degrees and a 20% shot of some rain. Tomorrow, mid-80s again with a little more sunshine again for your Friday. We have got a patchy, foggy morning. We've got partly sunny thereafter. A 10% chance of showers after 5, just to cover all the bases. 85 for your high, 61 for your low. A really nice Friday. An even nicer weekend ahead. I love it when I get to say that. Saturday, patchy fog in the morning, but otherwise mostly sunny. Highs in the mid-80s again. Mostly clear skies that night. A low of 62 and patchy fog again. A little warmer still for your Sunday. Fog in the morning, otherwise sunny and pushing 90 degrees for the last half of your weekend. Mostly clear that night. Mid-60s for nighttime lows. And next week has a bit of a pattern that will continue right on from there. Flirting with or hanging right around 90 degrees Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Partly to mostly sunny skies each and every day, and a very consistent nighttime low of 68 across the board. And then you'll see the shower chances there, anywhere from 30 to 50% pretty much each and every day. And I think that pattern might even carry on a little bit farther than the actual forecast on your screen does. But we'll talk about that tomorrow and again next week. And that's a wrap for this Thursday. I'll see you back here next time for more of Your News Today. Enjoy your what is becoming a mostly cloudy evening out there, and have a good night.